what is an appraisal in terms of commercial real estate? You probably know the answer to this, but we're going to talk a little more about how commercial appraisals differ from residential appraisals and why your appraisal is essential to you being able to get financing for your commercial real estate purchase. This channel is Commercial Real Estate Explained, where we help people make informed decisions about commercial real estate. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Dave Carlson, and really happy you guys are watching our content here. So what is an appraisal? An appraisal is an essential part of you getting a loan in order to buy commercial real estate. So you can go out and get an appraisal whenever you'd like to. If you own commercial real estate and you're curious what that value is going to be, you can pay an independent appraiser to go look at comps and look at the market and tell you what your building is worth. Obviously, there's going to be a fee, but there's some great professionals that can help with that. Where appraisals come up in the owner-user purchase process, that's what we talk a lot about on this channel, is helping business owners buy their own building so that they can basically own the building that they conduct their business out of. Where an appraisal comes up is when you go into contract to buy that warehouse or that office building for your own use. Most likely you're going to be getting a loan. You're going to be working with a lender. Maybe it's a bank, maybe it's the SBA, maybe it's a combination of the two. But when you go to get a loan, similar to residential, the lender is going to want to know that you're paying a market price for the building. They don't want to give you a loan if you're going to pay $2 million for a building that's only worth $1.5 million. As you can imagine, if you stop making your loan payments and they take that building back, they don't want something that's significantly below its value. So that's where an appraisal comes in. So once you're in contract, you're going to have to pay an appraiser, and that's usually a buyer cost. So your lender is probably going to ask you for the check, and then your lender is going to order that appraisal. As you can imagine, they don't really want the borrower to pick the appraiser themselves. They don't want you hiring your uncle to go and say that the value is worth exactly what you want it to be. So they keep it independent. And so basically, you cut a check. For most small owner-user deals, it's going to be in the $3,000 to $5,000 range, something like that. Obviously depends on the complexity. It is significantly more than residential appraisals, so definitely talk with your lender before you go into contract to know what that expense is going to be. But essentially, you're going to cut that check to your lender, and then your lender is going to put the deal out to bid. So a bunch of different local appraisers can bid to do that appraisal. Your lender is going to choose whoever can turn the appraisal around fastest and is going to give you the best price and has the best reputation with that lender. So what's going to happen is that appraiser is going to go out and look at the building. They're going to look at the leases. They're going to look at the comps. They're basically going to do a book report on your building and how much they think it should be worth. And then the lender is going to basically compare that independent value against what you're paying for the building. The reason that they need to do this is because the appraiser is going to get paid no matter what they tell you the value is. So it's really their job to be unbiased and to be honest. If the deal doesn't make, it doesn't affect the appraiser. If the deal does make, it doesn't affect the appraiser. So it's really their job to give you an honest assessment of what that building is worth. Once again, these appraisals on the commercial side are more complicated and can be more expensive. They also take longer. So be very careful when you go into contract. Make sure your lender knows roughly what the turnaround time is on appraisals. I cannot tell you how many times borrowers I've seen will wait until last minute to order their appraisal and then find out that sometimes they take 4 or 5 weeks to get turned back around. The reason for this is there are far fewer commercial appraisers than there are residential, and they're more complicated, and there's less comps and less information out there, so they just take longer. So make sure when you're in contract and you're ordering your appraisal that you give yourself plenty of time to get that appraisal back before the end of your financing contingency. We talked about that in another video, but oftentimes your financing contingency is kind of the last straw before you go non-refundable on your deposit. as you can imagine, if your loan is tied to the building appraising at a certain value, you want that appraisal back before you go non-refundable on your deposit. Obviously, that is not a position you want to be in where you're non-refundable and then the appraisal comes back not at the right value and all of a sudden you have a problem. So we can talk more about appraisals and how they fit into deals, but I think the big things to know if you're going into contract or if you're preparing to buy some commercial real estate, expect to pay an appraisal, know what that's going to cost you, know how long it's going to take, and just understand that that appraisal is going to be essential to you getting a loan. One caveat is if you are a cash buyer and you're not getting a loan, you don't technically have to get an appraisal. So, some cash buyers that know the market really well, or they've pulled together enough comps and feel like they really know it, they may not order an appraisal, and that's okay too. But, with almost no exception, if you're getting a bank loan, they're going to want an appraisal to make sure you're not overpaying for that property. So hopefully this clears up how appraisals fit into commercial real estate investing. If you have any questions about that, give me a call. We are not appraisers. We are commercial real estate brokers here at Carlson O'Connell Commercial Real Estate, but your lender can help you find the right appraiser. So thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully you got some value here. We're putting out one video a week, so please hit subscribe. We'd love to get this out to more business owners and more people that are interested in commercial real estate. Have a great week.